You've confronted the past. You've rewritten the limiting belief. Now, it's time to build forward. Because leadership is not just about what you release, it is about what you create. And vision is the fuel of leadership. Today's challenge is simple but profound. Write a letter to your future self, not as a casual exercise, not as a fantasy, but as an act of leadership clarity. Because the leaders who move mountains are the ones who see the mountain before it exists, who write the story before they live it, who speak the future into being, one word, one choice, one action at a time, and that future starts with this letter. Because here's the truth. Most people drift through life. They react, they adapt, they survive, but they do not intentionally design who they are becoming. They do not architect the identity they wish to embody, and so their potential remains a wish, not a reality. But you are not here to drift. You are here to lead. And leadership begins with vision. With seeing the future version of you so clearly that it pulls you forward, even when discipline falters, even when fear whispers, even when the world doubts. And this is why today's practice matters. Because the more vividly you can see your future self, the more powerfully you will act in the present. Identity drives behavior, and written vision cements identity. So today on Breathe, slow down, get present, and write. Write to the leader you are becoming, the version of you 12 months from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Speak to them as if they already exist. Describe what they have built, how they move, how they lead, how they love, how they serve, how they breathe, how they show up when no one is watching and when everyone is. And as you write, stretch yourself. Do not write from your current limitations. Write from your highest vision. Write from the version of you who has transcended the beliefs you challenged yesterday, who leads with presence, with courage, with clarity, because that future you is already within you, waiting to be led forward. One breath, one choice, one written word at a time. And here's something deeper. This is not just about vision, it is about commitment. Because when you write to your future self, you are not only describing what you will do, you are declaring who you will be. You are making a public commitment to yourself on paper. You are anchoring your future identity in language, and language shapes reality. And this is where most people falter. They set vague goals, they speak in generalities. I want to be successful. I want to be confident. But the mind does not act on vagueness. It acts on clarity, on specificity, on identity. So in this letter, be precise, be bold, be vivid. Describe how your future self thinks, how they move through challenge, how they breathe under pressure, how they lead teams, how they build wealth, how they serve their family, how they live their values, how they command presence, how they speak life into others. Because the clearer you write it, the more real it becomes. And the more real it becomes, the more powerfully your actions will align. And this is identity engineering, the disciplined shaping of who you are becoming through conscious design. It is how elite leaders think. They do not leave identity to chance. They do not hope to evolve. They script the evolution, one written word, one aligned action at a time. And this is why this practice matters. Because you cannot outperform your self-image. If your internal narrative says you are a small player, you will play small. If your narrative says you are an emerging world-class leader, you will begin to act accordingly. And the letter you write today is a tool to upgrade that narrative. To write the story of the leader the world is waiting for you to become. And here is another edge. As you write, feel it. Embody it. Do not write as a distant observer. Write as if you are stepping into this identity now, as if you are merging with this future version in real time. Because the more you feel it, the more you wire it. The more you wire it, the more you live it. And that is the essence of leadership evolution. To close the gap between who you are and who you are capable of becoming. One breath, one word, one courageous action at a time. So write boldly, write vividly, write with the full force of your breath, your vision, your courage. And know, every word you write is a seed planted in the soil of your future. Tend it well, lead it fully, 1% stronger for life. And here's another layer. When you write to your future self, you are not just defining where you are going, you are defining what you will leave behind. Because growth is not only about addition, it is about subtraction, about releasing the habits, the patterns, the relationships, the beliefs that no longer serve the leader you are becoming. And this clarity is critical. Because if you do not consciously choose what to release, your past will anchor your future. You will drag outdated identities into new seasons. You will wonder why progress feels heavy. And the weight will not be external. It will be internal. So in this letter, write clearly. What will you let go of? What behaviors will you outgrow? What excuses will you eliminate? What stories will you stop telling? What fears will you choose to walk through? Be ruthless here, because leadership requires constant pruning. The more you grow, the more you must release. And the leader you are becoming will not be built on the habits that kept you comfortable. They will be built on the disciplines that forge greatness. And this is why writing the letter matters. Because clarity precedes courage. The more vividly you articulate who you are becoming and what you are releasing, the more easily you will take the aligned actions required. And here is another truth. This letter is not a one-time exercise. It is a leadership document, a contract with yourself, a map for your nervous system. You will revisit it often, you will refine it as you grow. You will use it to recalibrate when distraction creeps in, when fear whispers, when the world tests your conviction. Because the world will test you. The bigger your vision, the bigger the tests. And in those moments, clarity will be your anchor. Presence will be your power. And this letter will be your reminder of who you are here to become and why it matters. And here's the paradox. The more you align with this future self now, the faster you collapse time. The more you act today from the identity of your future self, the sooner that future becomes your present. This is the power of vision-driven leadership. It is not passive, it is not wishful, it is actionable, embodied, disciplined. It turns intention into identity, identity into action, action into legacy. And this is the edge you are building, one word at a time, one breath at a time, one courageous vision at a time. So write fully, write freely, write fiercely. Your future self is waiting, and the world is watching. Lead it. 1% stronger. And here is something few will tell you. The greatest breakthroughs in leadership do not happen in front of an audience. They happen in moments exactly like this. Alone, pen in hand, breath steady, vision clear. In the quiet space where you choose to design the next version of you. Most will never do this work. They will chase tactics. They will study the strategies. They will obsess over the next system. But they will never sit in stillness long enough to confront who they are being and who they are becoming. But the few who do, they lead at another level. They move through life with an energy that others feel before they speak. They make decisions from alignment, not approval. They operate from vision, not validation. And this is the leader you are becoming. One letter, one breath, one disciplined vision at a time. And here is another edge. As you write this letter, write not only of what you will achieve, but of how you will live. Because true leadership is not measured by external outcomes alone. It is measured by the internal state from which you lead. So write, how will you lead yourself each morning? How will you move through tension? How will you breathe when under pressure? How will you speak when all eyes are on you? How will you hold space when others falter? How will you serve when the work is hard and the recognition absent? Write the patterns. Write the principles. Write the presence. Because this is what sustains leadership. Outcomes fluctuate. Markets shift. Teams evolve. But the leader who has forged a disciplined inner state will lead powerfully through all seasons. And here is the final truth. The version of you are writing to is already within you, waiting to be led forward, waiting to be expressed. And each breath, each choice, each word you write brings you closer. You are not creating a distant fantasy. You are unveiling the leader you are capable of becoming, and by writing this letter, you are choosing to accelerate that unveiling, one breath, one belief, one disciplined action at a time. So write now, without hesitation, without censorship, with full courage. Your future self is waiting. Lead them forward. And here's a deeper truth to anchor. When you write to your future self, you are not only defining what you will do, but what you will stand for. Because the world does not need more leaders who chase outcomes at the expense of values. The world needs leaders who embody integrity, who align ambition with purpose, who build not only for themselves, but for others. And this begins here, in this letter, in the clarity of what you will choose to value, even when no one is watching. In the principles you will refuse to compromise, even when the stakes are high. In the legacy you will build, one disciplined choice at a time. So write clearly. What will you stand for? What will you refuse to sacrifice? How will you treat people when no one can see? How will you lead when the world is chaotic? How will you remain grounded in presence when others react in fear? Because it is this clarity of values, of principles, of presence that will make you magnetic, that will earn trust, that will shape culture. And this is why this practice is not optional for those who lead at the highest levels. Because the pull of external validation is strong, the noise of the world is loud, and without a clear, written vision of who you choose to be, you will be pulled into currents not of your choosing, but you are choosing now. You are anchoring your leadership in vision, in presence, in principles that transcend circumstance. And here is the beautiful paradox. The more clearly you write this letter, the more naturally your behavior will begin to align. Because the Asabachi mind seeks congruence. Once you commit in writing, your nervous system will begin to seek alignment between your actions and your declared identity. And this is where momentum builds. Small actions compound. The leader you wrote to begins to shape the leader you are, until the gap closes and you become the embodiment of your own vision, and this is mastery. Not perfection, but alignment. Not flawless execution, but consistent evolution. And this begins here, in this breath, in this letter, in this courageous choice to lead your future self forward. So write, stand tall, own the vision, declare the values. Speak the future into being, one breath stronger, one word clearer, one leader deeper, every single day. And here is the final layer. Once you have written this letter, it is no longer just words on a page. It is a leadership contract. With yourself, with your future, with the people you are called to serve. And leadership contracts are not broken lightly. They are not written to be filed away and forgotten. They are written to be lived, to be revisited, to be used as a compass when the storms come, and they will come. Because leadership is not the absence of adversity. It is the capacity to move through it with presence. To lead from values when pressure tempts compromise. To breathe through tension when fear screams for reaction. To act from vision when the path is unclear. And this is why this letter matters, because it will become your anchor in those moments. A reminder of who you have chosen to be, a mirror of the leader you are becoming, a source of strength when discipline wavers. And here is the edge. Do not keep this letter private forever. Share parts of it with those you trust, with those you lead. Because leadership is not about perfection, it is about authenticity, about modeling the courage to declare your vision, knowing you will be held accountable to it, and this accountability will sharpen you. It will refine you. It will accelerate your evolution. Because when you know others are watching, when you know your future self is watching, you act with greater intention. You breathe with greater presence. You lead with greater courage. And this is the path you are now walking, not a path of easy comfort, but a path of disciplined leadership. One breath, one word, one choice at a time. So as you close this letter, close it with conviction. Sign it, date it, own it. Commit to revisiting it often. Commit to acting through it daily. Commit to becoming the leader your vision requires. And remember, the future you wrote to is already within you, waiting to be expressed, waiting to be led forward. You are not starting from scratch. You are starting from strength, from presence, from identity, From 15 days of disciplined leadership practice that few will ever sustain. So breathe deep, stand tall, step forward. One letter written, one leader committed, 1% stronger, forever. And now, as you breathe into this next moment, know this. The act of writing this letter was not small. It was leadership at its highest level. Because the leaders who create extraordinary futures are not those who wait to see what happens. They are those who decide what will happen. Who write it, who speak it, who act through it, one breath, one word, one day at a time. And today you have done what few will ever do. You have declared your vision. You have shaped your identity. You have aligned your future self with your present actions. And this is how the extraordinary is built. Not through chance, but through clarity. Not through hope, but through disciplined presence. Not through waiting, but through writing. And here is the charge I leave you with. Do not let this letter sit on a shelf. Let it live. Let it breathe. Let it lead you. Revisit it often. Speak its words into your actions. Align your habits with its vision. Let your breath, your presence, your leadership reflect the future you have written. And understand this. Every choice you make from this moment forward will either align with that vision or pull you away from it. Every breath is a vote. Every word is a vote. Every action is a vote. So choose wisely, lead intentionally, live fully, because you are not just writing to your future self. You are becoming them. One breath stronger, one word clearer, one action bolder, 1% better. Ever. Now, Tleden, the world is watching, and your future self is waiting.